And frankly, I don't know about you. I watch other YouTube videos and I get tired of people saying like and subscribe for more content, but it seems you actually have to do that if you want to grow that following. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're watching this show live or, recorded, like and subscribe so we can get the message out to more people. This is Devon, I think you would agree. This is like the guest's favorite show, the favorite podcast to be on because we're not trying to get juice. We're not trying to get dirt or gossip. We're not trying to sip the tea. We're just trying to have a good time, tell some funny stories, right?
Correct, which I've always said since the start of this podcast, that we're not here to change Vince's philosophy on what his show needs to be. We might talk about the show and what some of the things going on, but that's about it. We're not going to try to change it. We just want to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Fun with the guests, fun with each other. We just want to have fun. And that's the key.
And I think we're getting closer because Devon's pain level is going down. So
Yes.
Devon's going to get to be like wild and crazy here soon.
Well, you know what? I got to find out because I have another doctor's appointment with my doctor to find out how the fusion is doing. I got to take x-rays before I see him. And then he's going to tell me how everything is going in my back. I'm hoping that that's the case. I got to find out what I can do and what I cannot do. So
Right.
that's gonna be the thing. So I'm excited about that. Woohoo!
Absolutely. And of course, the lovely Lindsay to my left. How are you today?
I am doing well. I'm the mother of a 15-year-old now, so I'm just kind of reeling in that reality.
Happy birthday to your 15-year-old. That's actually
Thank
today.
you. Yep. Today.
Well,
As we're recording this. How's things been? Like, she been in a good mood today? I mean, teenagers are moody, so
It's very, take it a second at a time. She's been in a fairly good mood today. Presents and attention. So yeah, she's been good.
no, it's not today. It's not today. Today's the birthday. Today is the changing of another number.
Yes.
When you should ask that question, ask that tomorrow from Lindsay. Ask it. Right now, she's on a high because it's her birthday.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Right.
wishing her happy birthday. Everybody's on her bandwagon. Once everybody starts to step off and go back to real life, that's when the teenager comes out.
All right.
Are you ready? You still got two more that are still years away, granted. You got one teenager now,
Well,
but
I
are you
got
ready
three.
for a couple females?
Well, no, I'm not because I hear the horror stories about raising girls and the attitudes and the hormone changes. I didn't go through this with the guys. I did not. I got 4 boys and the fourth boy, Preston, he's 13 now. He'll be 14 this year. But I got a little hiccups with him here and there, but that's it goes with the territory. But the girls, I don't know, man. I'm hearing horror stories, man. Here's the one thing I like. I have ADT alarm system. My house is completely surrounded with cameras.
Mhm.
So there's no way you can get into my house without the camera picking you up. There's no sneaking or whatever. So and the reason why I say that and I'm happy about that is because I hear the horror stories about the girls. I'm hearing mostly girls sneaking out, taking the car and going joyriding with their friends.
Oh,
I'm gonna know if that when that door is open, I'm going to know that they stepped out of the house, which
I didn't even think about the car.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, got to do driving.
Hey, hide the keys or take the spark plugs out so the car don't start.
Then I got to drive around everywhere. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But the little tricks, though. I mean, you may
Yeah.
be turning to Devon for more of this advice, but
Yeah.
we have a gentleman who has plenty of stories to share himself. And, we'll talk April Fools coming up in a couple days, but we don't want to keep this guy hanging. One of the longest tenured referees in all of pro sports, WWE, AEW, and he can tell us everybody else. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mike Chioda.
Hey,
Come
how's
on.
it going? All right, guys.
Hello.
How you doing, man?
Good, man. How's it going? All right,
All
Mo.
right.
Lindsay,
Now-
Devon, how you
Doing
doing?
great. Hi.
What's up, buddy?
Thank you.
Mike. Well, I always call him Chioda. I never
Yeah.
call. I don't think anybody's ever really called you by your first name.
No.
It's always Chioda.
That's true. Coyote, Kyoto,
Coyote, yeah.
Chi-Chi.
I didn't know. Are you in AEW now? I did not know that.
No, just part-time here and there once in a while. And they were calling
Oh,
me for a
okay.
little bit and stuff like that. So didn't really work out too long with AEW.
Now,
So-
how long were you with WWE?
35 years. Yeah, 35 years.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Good
refereed
God.
for
A little
about
bit.
33 years, 31 years on TV. Made my debut in 1989 on TV. And of course, you had to pay some dues, D in the business and stuff, doing
Mhm.
ring crew and stuff. And a couple years later, I was growing up with Joey Morella and stuff back in the days, and Gorilla Monsoon. And did a couple years of refereeing on the road and stuff at live events and house shows, and made my debut in '99. Had a fantastic career all those years, man. Fantastic.
Now,
career.
I'm gonna hold on before you say anything more. I gotta have a gripe with Chioda.
Oh,
I have a little gripe with Chioda because I remember, I don't know if it was our first run or it might have been our second run. I think it was our first run, me and Bubba.
Right.
I saw a picture that got blown up. It was a huge picture of you refereeing. I think it was Hogan and The Rock.
Yes.
And I remember you were so happy about that. And I was like, oh, maybe one day he'll get our match, and he will, blow up the picture and have me and Bubba sign it. Never got that opportunity, Mike. I'm hurt. It was always. What did The Rock and Hulk Hogan ever do for this business? Come on, compared to the Dudley Boys.
Who? I don't even know those names.
Right.
Who are those guys?
Right. Yeah, but you got to remember the match before that, D, with you and Bubba and Nick Patrick and me and The Rock and Jericho. We had a 6-man tag. Remember, Bubba took my head off?
Yes, he did. And I said, Bubba, why did you kill Chioda? He was like, Chioda's breathing. Don't worry about it.
He told me all day. He said, if you don't sell that shit, I'm telling you, I'm really, I'm going to bring it, Chioda. I'll bring it again. I sold that shit all the way to the back. He goes, Chioda, you sold too much. I'm like, what?
Hey, let me tell you something. I remember that match as it was yesterday, and it was probably one of my funnest moments in the ring because it was so great. The way we told that story, and that's what I like to say all the time. It's not what you do in the ring; it's the storytelling. How you get the people hooked, and that was really a good thing. I love that. I love that a lot. Excuse me while my phone is ringing. I love that a lot. It was so much fun. And how we did that and built up to it because it was WCW invading WWE.
Right.
And, who was the bad guys? Who were the good guys? Who was going to be the crooked referee? And who was going to be the right referee? And, of course, Nick Patrick was the heel at the time. And he played that so well.
Well, he did, too.
Really did.
I know. Always appreciated him doing the job for me.
Yep. And then did Earl have to get involved in that too? I believe.
No, he didn't get involved in that and stuff as far as that.
No, I think he did. I think he tried to escape, and Earl came down and threw him back in the ring.
Oh yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Yep.
Yes, he threw him back. Yes. Yeah, I mean, it was for me doing that role, knowing now what you did back then 20 years ago was like, it was phenomenal. It was just like I don't think any other referees ever had the role to enjoy a match with Jericho, Rock, Bubba, you, Devon, and Nick Patrick, and on such a main event match. And it was awesome. I mean, I was shocked all out of my freaking boots, man. I'm thinking, I got to wrestle a match tonight? I'm stupid as shit. Refereeing a match is one thing, but wrestling is a whole different story,
Yeah. It truly was a great match. We had the people hooked.
Yes.
They loved it. They cheered and they booed, me, Bubba, and Patrick. And they loved you guys. I mean, that was the great thing. Like I said, storytelling is what it is. It's not the moves that you do in the ring.
Right.
It's not all the other garbage that people like to say. It's the storytelling that you give. You give a good story, people will bite.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what I always said about the Rock and Hogan match, doing that match as a referee and just know how famous and, icon against icon doing that match, being a part of that match, being a third man in the ring. It's just a phenomenal thing. It's just one of my matches in my career that I stand out the most. It wasn't going to be some high technical wrestling match, it wasn't going to be a high flying match, and it was just something that they had to go out and expect to really produce in Toronto that day. And they weren't even the main event in that match that night in WrestleMania.
Yeah.
They tore the house down, which they should have been the last match.
Tore it down. I mean, I remember the next night in Montreal, Hogan had a 20-minute standing ovation.
Unbelievable.
In Canada. Right? It was unbelievable.
Right.
I remember I was like, are these people ever going to shut up and let him talk?
Man, I tell you.
I mean, they were cheering him. They were loving every bit of it.
Yeah.
And, that's the thing. I think it's great when you can have yesterday kind of come back and join in with today. Right. If you read what I'm saying, because, even though sometimes we like to look at the old timers washed up and what have you, it's not necessarily so. You know, they
Yeah.
could still perform, they could still act, they could still do what they have to do to attract the crowd. Remember, before they left, they were doing it. So why wouldn't they do it again when they come back?
Right, right. I mean, in that match, man, I mean, Hogan with the NWO coming back, all that stuff, what he's done with the NWO at that time, and then just the pop, his entrance when he came out, it was just, that was, man,
Unreal.
68,000 people in a big dome. The pop was so huge. It was like, wow. And then,
I
you
mean,
know,
I don't. Yep.
it
Okay,
was,
I'm sorry.
yeah, no, it was just one of the most unbelievable pops I've ever heard of WrestleMania. I've heard a lot of pops, you know, and that was one of the most, you know, and it was cool, just icon against icon, and they really they tore the house. And Hogan, he looked phenomenal shape at that time. So even 20
Yeah, he
years
was.
ago, he was in
Yeah,
phenomenal shape.
he was. He still
So
is now, believe it or
yeah,
not.
and the Canadian
I just saw
fans
him.
and everybody didn't forget Hogan, what he was been doing for the last 20 years. You know, that's
Now
for sure.
you said you were there for 35 years. That
Yeah,
means you were there at the tail end of the Hogan and Andre era. How was
right.
it like? How was it like being a referee with Andre in the ring?
It was pretty wild, man. It was because Andre didn't speak much English, you know, but if he liked you, he liked you. If he didn't like you, he didn't like you.
He'd kill you.
You know, yeah, I was 18, like doing ring crew stuff. I used to have to go out to the liquor store and stuff when you'd be down at Wildwood Convention Centers and stuff like that. And they used to work that every Monday off the boardwalk there in the summer times. And I used to work for Victor Keonis, which ran the ring crew for Gorilla Monsoon. And Joey used to be, you know, of course, Joey did that match.
Right.
So just coming off of all Joey's stories for during that match was just like, you know, he was like, I can't believe Andre let him slam him. I couldn't believe Andre let him do this. And it was like, Joey. And, you know, it all depended on Andre passing that torch to Hogan, you know, which, you know, then he passed the torch to Hogan. Hogan passes the torch to Rock. And then Rock takes the torch and goes to Hollywood. It was like, damn, Rock. God, we were making such good money in the Attitude Era.
Oh, it was such a fun time. People I don't think really realize how much fun we really had. I mean, we were truly rock stars.
Yeah.
You couldn't get any bigger in the business.
Yeah.
During the Attitude Era. It
That's
was
true.
one of the biggest, the most money-making era of all time.
Yeah, it sure
You
was,
know,
man.
WrestleMania 17 was, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, and if I'm wrong, please somebody correct me, was one of the highest gross WrestleManias of all time. And that's saying a lot. That is saying a lot.
Yeah, I just did a podcast with Jim Ross like about a week ago on the Hogan match for the 20th anniversary on ad-free shows, and so you know, we were talking about that, and I was thanking Jim Ross for the big paydays, man, because he's paying the refs real good. Not just talent, he was paying the refs real good too, you know. So
I mean, it was a great era, man. It really was.
With that said, if I can interject, you know, I've been in entertainment myself 20 years, and I find myself more and more as time goes on forgetting things like, oh yeah, I did talk to that guy. Yeah, I did work with that guy. I've always been amazed with how well Devon remembers a lot of these stories. Do you find yourself, Mike Chioda, do you find yourself, you know, looking back and then you see footage? Oh yeah, I was a part of that match.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, of course that match sticks out in my career and all that other stuff. And there's so many matches that stick out in my career, whether it's Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania in Boston. So many other matches I've done in my career and stuff, and Undertaker's matches, Bret Hart matches. I just feel like there are some stuff I look back on the Peacock or the network channel and go, holy shit, I forgot about that match. You know, I was watching the match I did with Dino Bravo not too long, like years ago, and I was just watching it like a couple of weeks ago. I went, holy shit, I forgot I was working with Dino Bravo and them, you know, and Frenchie Martin and them guys. So it's good I'm glad there is a network out there like that. You know, just to see all the incredible matches I've done and stuff, and just the fun times we had in the business, Devon. I mean, the business is, you know, there ain't nothing I love the most than entertaining people, and what we did is what we did and what we did the best in the world, you know.
Yeah, you know, and I just hope
kids.
I just hope these new millenniums out here realize what we did, putting our bodies through what we put our bodies through to get to this level.
Right.
You know, I mean, we all have a story to tell.
That's true.
You know?
True.
And we all done it. We've all been successful at it. And that's why it hurts me sometimes when I hear some of the fans get on some of the wrestlers. Oh, that guy is washed up and blah, blah, blah. Listen, at least he paid his dues, went in there and entertained you for so many years.
Right.
Now for you to disrespect him because he's no longer on your TV, that's just wrong. He's not washed up. He's retired. He's enjoying his life now.
That's right.
What you got to say? How are you enjoying things now, not being on the road full time?
Good, man. Good. I'm going back and forth to Puerto Rico for LAWE, for Latin America Wrestling Entertainment. Orlando Cologne's running a company down there and stuff. So we've been doing a lot of production stuff and redoing the ring, remodeled the ring and made new ropes, and just the production looks fantastic. We're starting on TV in Telemundo in a couple weeks. So we're getting at things, I'm busy doing signings, and I do a lot of podcasts, and I'm doing podcasts for ad-free shows every week and so forth. So it's a lot of fun, man. And the podcasting, believe me, I didn't know what the hell was going on with podcasting, and COVID hit. And then I got all these, for podcasts and ad-free shows just contact me, Conrad Thompson, and he said, hey, man, I want to do a podcast with you every week, man. I'm sure you got a lot of stories. I said, I got tons of stories. So, that was pretty cool. Keep me busy through COVID, man, with all the podcasts. It's been great.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I miss you something dearly.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, we used to have so many good times. I just walk in there, Devon, what up, brother?
You were always in a good mood. Bubba was always, oh, man. He'd be like, leave me the F alone, Chioda.
I mean,
Bubba. How is Bubba, man? Bubba doing good?
He's doing all right.
Good.
I mean, we don't speak as much because we're not, in the same realm like he's doing his show with his radio station, and I'm doing my thing. Plus, me being back, still with the company and doing everything I'm doing, it's kind of hard. Sometimes, people go apart. They do, separate things. So it's not that we hate each other or anything like that. It's just that we have to go our separate ways sometimes. And sometimes we get caught up in our own life. And I think that's where we have to stop and realize, hey, you only live once, you only have, the run around with somebody one time, maybe, if that's it, especially in this business. So if you can stay connected, stay connected. Right. So I think we need to do a better job in keeping in touch and things like that. But again, life passes you by sometimes and you don't even realize it.
No, I know, man. I know. Ray Mysterio and Ronnie, R-Truth, and Dominic hit me up when they were in Toronto the other day.
Oh, okay.
And, it was just good to hear them, man. We were talking for about 40 minutes, just telling stories of Dom and just shooting the shit. It's always good to catch up with the boys, So
yeah,
like a lot of the boys on the road.
I think the last time I saw Bubba was probably about, before the end of the before the new year.
Gotcha.
And I think we ran into each other. And it was like we took over where we left off, joking around with one another and saying whatever. But, again, it's just one of those things where, I think, how hard it is in this business where if you don't stay in contact with someone or keep up with them, you never know. Because in this business, we've lost a lot of friends along the way.
No doubt.
And, unfortunately, losing, one of the great ones who helped revolutionize and change the business, which is Razor Ramon, Scott Hall.
Scott Hall.
God rest his soul, and blessings go out to his family and friends, of course, and may that brother rest in peace and finally find the peace that he so truly deserves.
Right, and that's another one. Scott Hall, man, he used to teach me how to get that close count 1, 2, not today, kick out. And I'll never forget his words. I love Razor because him and a couple other guys that came up with the Coyote nickname years and years ago, and just from going out partying all night and stuff and saying, Coyote, man, you're like a coyote, Chioda. You're always chasing the goddamn mood and chasing the women all night, chasing that ring. He was like, you're just never going to get there, and Razor's, I'll never forget he said to me, Coyote, if you don't count 3 real fast on this match with the 1, 2, 3 kid in Manhattan Center, he goes, I'm telling you, brother. He goes, Coyote, please, man, you got to fucking count 1, 2, 3 real fast, man. You got to pick up that count.
I didn't know
so I remember going in there just thinking, that's all I got to do is count 3 real quick. That's it.
But you don't want to count 1, 2, 3 real fast at the wrong time. You got to remember
That's
exactly, at the right time.
Yeah, that's exactly. I wasn't screwing that up, but I wasn't counting slow either. So I didn't want no heat with that click. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And I miss
No.
Razor, man. He was doing so well and doing very well, and it was good to see
Yeah.
him here and there.
Yeah. Last time I
Yeah.
saw him, I think it was at the airport, and he was like, "Hey, Devon, how you doing? How you been?" You could tell that he was very humble,
Right.
and he really was enjoying life at that time.
Right.
So when I heard that he had passed, it did kind of bother me because I wasn't as good friends with him as Kevin Nash and
Right.
X-Pac was,
Right.
but I was
Sean,
friends good enough where it does hurt, to
Right.
lose a loved one or to lose a friend.
Yeah.
I do consider my friend. Again, I wasn't as close as Kevin Nash and them, but we definitely spoke to each other and had a conversation when we did see each other.
Right. And God bless Scott Hall and his family and all the years, and
Absolutely.
appreciate what he did for this business, because I went from taking robes when I was the first at ring crew as a teenager, young, before I started refereeing, and he always leaned over the ropes and gave me his jewelry, and I'd sit there, wait for his robes and the jewelry and all the fake gold and all that, and he'd take that toothpick and he'd go over the ring and sorry, Coyote, and he'd flick it right in my face. Every night he'd say, sorry, Coyote. And then become, a few years later, referee some of his matches, and one of the incredible, match with the 1-2-3 kid. And I remember that match he had with Shawn Michaels, I believe it was at Madison Square Garden, or the ladder.
Yes,
match.
the ladder match, which basically helped put the TLC match on the map.
Yep, that's true.
If it wasn't for those guys doing what they were doing, I don't know if
Right.
there would have been a TLC match.
Yeah, right. That's true. That is true. He set the
kudos.
path for a lot of stuff too.
Yeah. We did our job, but again, we would not have been able to do that if there weren't people before us that started that.
Right.
So I'm very grateful of the past. I'm very respectful.
Yes.
Even when I was a young kid, I was, in the business, I was in awe whenever I ran into somebody from the Hogan and Andre era, because that was the era that I grew up watching.
Right.
And they were the ones that made me love professional wrestling.
Right. Set the path for you. Right.
Exactly. So, why would I say, bad things about them or think that I'm some young punk that can come up and take their spot? Absolutely not.
Gotcha.
Even to this day, that era was phenomenal, man.
Yeah. The kids got to, coming up in this business, they got to respect it. If this business is going to put food and pay your bills and put food on the table for you and your family and live and get a good life out of this business.
Absolutely.
It's not an easy business, not just for everybody, but you got to respect who set the path all those years prior.
Absolutely. Now, Mike, are you on now you were there for 35 years. Were you there longer than Earl and Earl Hebner?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was doing crew when Earl came in. He did the switch. Remember he did the switch with Hogan?
Yeah, the Andre.
David
Hogan and Andre, yeah.
With David, they did the referee switch.
Mm-hmm.
And then he tossed David at it, Earl out of the ring or something.
Were you there?
I was there. I was just refereeing, though. I wasn't refereeing. I was crew. I might have been doing live events at the time. But I remember that. I think that happened on a Saturday main event.
Event.
I did the ring crew that night.
Yeah, it was February. I remember this as clear as day. It's February 4th, 1988.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so I was refereeing, but on the live events on the house shows. Yeah, because 89 I started my debut, and I was refereeing for a couple of years. And Chief J and Gorilla made me a referee in 87, and I made my debut in 89. So it was pretty cool. So and then
On the topic of refereeing, we're WrestleMania week. WrestleMania is coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you from your position, starting ring crew and then becoming a referee? Do you feel the same pressure, the same excitement that the superstars do?
Well, the pressure, I do feel definitely the pressure going into, the match and everything, getting my match straight and getting it down and make sure I do the best of my knowledge, or if I have to take a bump in that match, it's very important to be there as a referee for the bump and don't screw that bump up and don't make it look stupid, because you really make the whole match look stupid at some point. And as a referee, you have to execute everything that you have to do, because if these guys go out and do what they do and, they expect you to be there too as well. And, when you have certain wrestlers and certain talent that can trust you as a referee to be there in certain spots and everything, it's a good feeling when because it takes 3 to tango in a match. It takes 5 to tango in a tag team match. So everybody has to do their part. And you know, a lot of the boys these days and back in the day didn't want to hear if the referee didn't do his part, you know, because if they're working hard in there, taking bumps, you better believe, you know, the referee should do their part in the match.
Now, did you have any stars, any wrestlers that always requested you that you were their guy?
Yeah, quite a few. I mean, Randy Orton over the years, you know, Rock back in the day, that's for sure. You know,
And the Dudleys.
Yeah, and the Dudleys, and you know, I mean, there was a lot of like you know, a lot of talent that would request me, which made me feel good. You know, I mean, made me felt like, you know, hey, I'm doing a good job in there, and I just can't keep fucking up. And you know, I always used to go to the heels, Devon, to that note, like, and always get the heels version and how do they want the referee to work with them. You go to the babies and you ask the baby faces, hey, how do you want me to work with you? And when you're doing this, or, you know, it's just very important to get both sides of the talent's perspective on how the referee should be in there with them.
I mean, it was great having Chioda in there. There was, you know, a couple of times where Bubba and I were heels, and you know, we would choke, you know, the baby face on the rope or something. 1, 2, you know, break it. He get in my face. Devon, I'm telling you one more time. If you don't stop that, I'm gonna send your ass back to the dressing room. I remember going, God, I was like, God damn, Chioda. I was like, you know, it's Devon, right? You know, he's an ass. It ain't real. He was so good. He made me believe it. I was like, damn. I was like, Chioda, you know, can I buy you a beer after the show?
You know how many people I've seen you put through tables, Devon? You put so many. I used to be like, oh, that's one thing I never had to do is go through a table. Thank God.
No, I wouldn't let that happen, even if they wanted to. Chioda, I was never gonna let that happen. When I first met, I remember coming into WWE for the first time from ECW and meeting Mike, and I remember going, this he is so cool. He is. I mean, from his voice. From his look down to his voice, the man, you can't see it now because he's sitting down, but the man's a hell of he's a sharp dresser. I mean, sharp as hell. I mean, he didn't have to wear suits and ties to look sharp. Even just a regular wear, like, you know, Nike wear or what have you.
Right.
But they always came dressed to the T. And I was always fond of that. He was clean cut. He was ready to go. And I used to go, man, I used to come home and go tell my boys, like, he's the sharpest motherfucker I ever met. Let me tell you that right now.
Thank you.
I mean, I was very impressed. I mean, from the clothes to the personality down to the voice.
Yeah, the boys always used to freak out, man. Especially Swags, Ronnie, like, oh, you're so neat in the hotel room, because I was always so neat with my stuff and everything, you know.
Oh yeah, that's right. One of the stories, people used to rib you.
Yeah,
he has an OCD. I remember telling the story. He's got an OCD problem. So he folds his clothes a certain way. He puts his tape, everything, his shoes, a certain way in his bag. And they were messing with him one time, and he was people he was driving with. I think it was the Colognes.
Yeah,
they would always
probably.
They would always go in there and move his stuff out of place.
No.
Chioda would come in there and get hot. Just getting that. What the fuck was in my bag? God damn it. Why y'all messing with me?
You should have seen Rey Mysterio, bro. I'd go to his room at 2:00 in the morning. We got a 6 a.m. flight, and he's got all his stuff hung up, drying and all over the room. And I'm like, Ray, we got to go to the airport in 2 hours. You guys are looking like a showcase over here. Man, he used to get it done, boy.
Yep. I mean, Chioda was the only guy I knew that actually took his dirty clothes and folded them and put them nice and neat in his bag to take back home. It was great. I loved it.
That's impressive.
Well, they used to go in the laundry bag.
Yeah.
We got a great comment here from John that Chioda, let me just say you're the best ref of all time to me. At least the people that he's seen live, he appreciates your work. Wanted to ask some of your thoughts on certain cash-ins. Did you have to treat any of the Money in the Bank cash-ins different?
Yeah. Well, thanks for them kind words. Appreciate that, John. Definitely. You know, the cash in to me, I get the most kick out of, which, you know, it's real memorable with Seth Rollins cashing the Money in the Bank, you know, against Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. That was a huge cash in, huge pop, huge everything. And then Carmella. I mean, that day when, you know, like they told me, they said, hey, you got to work and say, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure? And she's screaming loud. And I'm like, holy shit, she's busting my eardrums, you know? So, I mean, a lot of people bring that Carmella cash in Money in the Bank more than the Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar, and Roman Reigns match. And I'm like, holy shit! Like I find myself talking about the Carmella cash in, than more than the other, with Seth Rollins.
The crazy part about it, Mike, and I think we've all said this, it was always the women got over more than the men.
Yeah.
On TV. I mean,
the
it
ratings
was
were
incredible.
up, right?
The ratings were up.
That's where
the
that's where it
women
mattered.
scored. Right, the women scored more ratings a lot of times than the men did.
Right.
Even some of the top main event guys. Even I remember back in the Attitude Era, they would do it minute by minute, hour after hour. They would get the ratings, and a lot of times it would show like some of the women back then would beat out, The Rock and Austin.
Right.
In their segment, it was incredible. It was incredible. So I'm not surprised that you get, that answer.
No,
about Carmella.
You remember when Vince used to say, "This what sells," right?
Yep.
He says, "This sells," right? Well, they were a lot prettier than the boys, that's for sure.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were.
So he always said facial sell and look sell and stuff like that. So the ratings with the women's, was phenomenal, and they're still doing a fantastic job in there. Growing up in business with Sensational Sherry, she was that's the one I like.
There we go. All right.
Okay.
That's how we sell this show, right?
So that's how I don't even talk. I just
that's it. Sell it. You sell that. That will sell.
Yeah.
It does. Trust me.
I bet. Yeah,
she gets a lot of people asking her out to dinner and stuff like that. Hey, can you take hey, you're beautiful. Hey, they notice her hair being changed more than we do.
You guys didn't even say anything today. Come on.
Yeah. You'll have somebody say, hey, Lindsay, your hair looks beautiful today. Or, hey, Lindsay, I love your makeup. And I'm like, well, damn, I'm not looking that closely. Should I be? Because, you see we put it on the guest, the big picture, and then you got us on the side, the three little things, and people can still notice with her.
Right.
That's incredible.
Right. That's awesome.
No, but we're keeping you large screen here because before we let you go, we need a little tour of your room there. I love all the memorabilia.
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff up here, man. I got like the whole four walls done of everything. A lot of this stuff is light shining on it, but up there is like Cape Town, South Africa, 1996, with Aldo Montoya and the Sultan made the front page, and right next to that it says "Deadly New Drug Hits Cape." You know what that was? That was ecstasy when it first came out.
Oh.
And that was in South Africa. The one below it is
did you bring that to South Africa?
No, I didn't bring it to South Africa.
I just want to make sure that's not the part you're being proud of. Okay.
No, I took some back. That's all.
Okay. I'm just trying to clear it up. Yeah.
And then we got some stuff underneath there with Rock and Hogan and stuff. And the shirt right there is from Rock and Hogan match. I had the Rock sign it.
Nice.
Hogan sign it.
I was actually there when you had Rocky sign that.
Yeah. Oh,
that's
man.
That's how I remember that. I was there when you had Rocky sign that.
Oh man, I'll tell you.
Were you waiting with your Sharpie, Devon?
You
didn't ask me.
No. I knew. Mike loved.
Oh, she's got jokes. I like it.
Yeah, you see. Mm-hmm.
She's a rigger,
I already knew Mike loved Rock, so there was very little love for Devon there.
Nah, I don't say that. That's for sure.
I'm joking.
But, yeah, we got some. I got a bunch of. I even got a nice poster of Razor Ramon that he signed for me years ago. Up in here, and got a lot of good memorabilia. For years, I didn't go around getting autographs for years because you were too intimidated and too scared until you really knew the boys well. Because the old school mentality was like you didn't want to seem like you were marking out. You know what I'm saying?
We've heard that a lot from our guests.
Yeah. I could have had so much more, memorabilia, but I just didn't want to. For years, I didn't do it. And then sometimes the boys would go away and then come back. And I think, you know what? I may never ever see him again. Or let me get this autograph from him or this one, or and I actually probably knew that I wouldn't have kept that shirt 20 years ago if I didn't know it was going to be something, because I did frame it up years and years ago, maybe a year later or 2 years later, and I had the shirt, autographing them guys. I knew something was going to be, icon against icon. As much as I enjoyed working with and working for Hogan and working with The Rock and working for The Rock in his matches, I knew that shirt was going to be something, in that match.
That's good.
You're right. Yeah.
I also see some Rolling Stones behind you there.
Yeah.
What's the significance there?
Big Stones fan. That was like my number one first concert I ever went to, and when I was a kid. I was 13 in 1980 in Philadelphia. So Went to see the Stones, Journey and George Thorogood at the JFK Stadium in
Wow.
Philadelphia, 100,000 people. So
And did you ever imagine that they would still be doing world tours?
I've seen
here?
them about 8 times. Yeah, I seen them not too long ago in town. Yeah,
Yep.
I love
Yep.
the
Cool.
Stones, man. So yeah, the Stones is my the first rock and roll band. I'm a big classic rock and roll guy. So
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome.
yeah.
That's great.
That's good.
But
Well,
yeah,
on that note, we know that you have a life outside of our podcast, so we should probably let you go back
No,
to it.
it's
If
all
people want to
good.
find you online, where can they do so?
well, it's at MJC Chioda on Twitter and stuff. I'm just on Twitter. I don't do much on Instagram or anything and stuff like that. And then I have my podcast that had free shows every Monday, Mailbag Monday with Mike Chioda.
Cool.
Excellent.
Oh,
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
Oh,
Absolutely.
no, love it, Chioda, love it. And hopefully, when I'm out of town and you're there, I want to definitely
Yep.
go and have a beer with you, man.
Yeah, definitely, brother. Hey, man, you ever want me to come back on the show? I'll be more than happy to help you out and come on the show.
Oh,
and talk
brother,
some more
we would
stuff and
love to have
stories.
you back. I'm sure we
You
have
know.
tons of things to talk about.
Yes,
So I have a feeling we
sure
just
do.
scratched the surface. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, we just scratched the surface. And I mean, with Devon's incredible. How many years, Devon, for you? 20-something, 25 years? What?
Going on 29 years now.
29. Look at that.
Yeah.
29 years of the business.
29 years I've been in this business. I mean, it's
Unbelievable.
been great. I wish I can stop it
Right.
and go back because
I
again, we
know.
had so much fun.
Right.
And now I know what a lot of the old timers
Well, you want to get some of these new contracts too, D. $3 million a year, $2.5 million a year. I'm like,
listen,
I'm
I
like,
would
who's
love
setting the
that.
bar for this?
Yeah. I mean, I come out of back surgery doing flips in the ring for that. Jesus. My wife was like, "You can't get back in the ring." The hell I can't. $3 million tells me I can. Shit, the devil
my
is a
cane.
liar.
I know
Exactly.
some of
Hold
the boys
my
are telling
cane.
me. Some of the boys are telling me these contracts. I'm like, what? How much? I'm like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
But
That's
you know
a holy
something?
shit chant right there.
I will say this though. When the Attitude Era, we were getting very good money in the Attitude Era.
Yeah, we were.
And
Yes.
there were a lot of guys from the Andre and Hogan era that were saying the same thing then.
Right.
So I can only imagine what they're saying now with the new contracts that are out now.
Right. Right.
You know,
I mean,
so
I remember with Dino Bravo when I was talking to somebody about him, he was making $1 million a year years ago.
was he really?
He
And that was
making
back
$1
in the
million.
80s something.
That was 80 something, right?
So
So
you can only imagine.
Right.
Jeez,
That's what I was. Poof. But
man.
I
What I would do right now to go back, bite my finger.
Right. right.
Oh no.
Both the pros on the show right now are just like,
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
And I look at it, big contract, never walking again. Big contract, never walking again.
No, I hear that. No, I hear that. I do.
Well, thanks again, Mike, man. It's been a pleasure and an honor to have you on this show. And I
Yeah,
wish we
thank
would have had
man.
you on before, so this could be the second time you're on here, because I'm
Right.
sure we have a lot more stories to talk about. And again, we're going to have you on, and we're going to do it again.
All right. Yeah,
No,
appreciate that. Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate everything. All right.
All right, Mike, thank you. You take care, my brother.
You got it. One love, Devon. Be safe. Man.
One love, my
All
brother.
right. God bless.
Bye. Oh,
all right.
that was fun.
Yes.
He seems nice. But
Yeah, he is
I
nice.
was very confused. I was in the wrong spot and I didn't know where to look.
Yeah, I can't.
Through my
talk about
whole-
that much.
I was struggling. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
I need
Lindsay,
Hey.
Lindsay, can you do me a favor?
No.
Can
Hey.
you move to the left a little bit?
This way.
Yep, keep going.
This way.
Keep going.
This way.
Keep going.
Am I going to go off the screen? Is that what's happening?
Right there. There you go. Table, what is that? Devon.
Oh.
exclamation?
You didn't
Oh.
see it. It was for last week. Or wait, yeah.
Oh, you showed me that last week. Yeah.
No.
Wait a minute. Oh, wait. How did you get welcome back? Wait a minute. That welcome back wasn't there before. It was just Devon, table talk.
Magic.
Oh, shit.
Camera tricks.
That was a camera trick because that wasn't there before.
It's my chair. No, it's magic.
You can't make me laugh. My back hurts.
Sorry.
It'll be very straight edge for this point.
Yes,
We Lance
no
Storm on
laughing.
this point, just so there's no humor.
Well, nobody's going to watch this.
Yeah.
Now, you've been off the map for a little bit here as you've been recovering and everything. You're going to get back into the system in WWE. Does it feel weird to not be a part of WrestleMania this year?
Yes, it does. It feels very weird. Because I can't fly right now. The doctors are saying that we have to make sure that the fusion is actually doing what it's supposed to do. The nuts and bolts are, tightening up and doing what they're supposed to do. So yeah, it felt real weird. I remember speaking to one of the officials because I had to ask a question, and he said, "Well, I won't know the answer to that until after WrestleMania, until we're done with WrestleMania this week." And I went, "Oh my God, it's WrestleMania weekend." I'm like, "Yes, it is." I said, totally forgot, but I was like, "I'm not there. I should be on my way to Texas right now." But unfortunately I can't do it.
Yeah.
So I gotta wait till next year.
There's next
I'm okay.
year.
It's always next year.
You're healing right now.
Yep, and we can do the podcast next year from WrestleMania.
I'd be okay with that.
What's
Absolutely.
WrestleMania? Just kidding.
It's the granddaddy of them all. Let me tell you, it's the Super Bowl, World Series, all combined into one.
Nice.
One of the greatest shows of all time.
And it should be pointed
Like a
out.
circus.
We talk about the WWE WrestleMania aspect, but it's become such a hub that almost all of the notable wrestlers in the world gather in that city because there's a WrestleCon that's also taking place. So really, that is where everybody's at this weekend.
And I was thinking about this too, and tell me if I'm wrong, Mo, but a lot of people like to criticize the WWE. They like to criticize, Vince and his product, this and that, but it's amazing how WrestleMania brings all this financial wealth to a city and to people, even people that are not in the business anymore, with autograph signings and things like that. So instead of bashing the man, how about you thank him?
A lot of cities bid for it every single year to try to get the Super Bowl. They try to get WrestleMania and probably some other big sporting events too. But I know those are the big ones that promote how much money they bring to each community.
It's amazing the money that generates during WrestleMania weekend. It truly is. I mean, every city that can get a WrestleMania to come to their city has to be extremely happy. And the businesses, it's got to be off the charts, the money that they make, especially restaurants and things like that.
I just realized you said we do podcasts from WrestleMania next year. That'll be from Los Angeles. That'll be Hollywood. That's the big one. So I'm in. Let's make that happen.
Yep, my wife's a little bit upset. She's like, "Dad, I want to go to Dallas this year, to the big stadium," because that was the last place where Bubba and I wrestled in terms of WrestleMania.
Wow.
It was WrestleMania in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
That was our last WrestleMania. We wrestled against the Usos. And so it was like, oh man, we're going back to the place where my last WrestleMania appearance was.
Was that one? Was that one on the pre-show? Was that on the kickoff?
Yes, it's on the kickoff show.
Because I remember you guys kind of got hosed a little bit because I was in the crowd for that one at the show, and we're standing outside the arena for the stadium for hours and hours, and there was only 2 entrances for fans. Yes. And everybody's been geared towards one of them, and security had no idea what they were doing. So I remember there was a women's match, and then I know there was your tag match that the crowd, like there was only half the crowd there because we weren't allowed in yet. The show had started and no fans had been allowed in yet.
But the way the hard camera was shooting, it looked like it was jam-packed. But I do remember, I remember Bubba looking at me and he goes, "Devon," he goes, "when you get out, when our music hits, I want you to just take it all in." He was like, breathe, look out at the crowd. I mean, because it was still packed. Because I remember hearing that story from many people, but it was still packed. And I remember walking out there and looking, and I was just in amazement to see what I was seeing. I was like, God, I was like, if this is my last WrestleMania, then thank you. Thank you very much.
I said, we got in, I think, halfway through your match, sat down and everything. So by the time you guys wrapped up, you finally had a good crowd there. But I just remember being a fan and just being so upset with how everything was being run on the outside. There was no bathrooms outside. So you see people outside of the stadium taking a piss on the stadium. WrestleMania, taking a piss on the stadium because there was no bathrooms outside. And I'm like, this doesn't feel like WrestleMania. And once you got inside, a different story. But
different story.
That was something else, that's for sure. But
Yeah,
Um,
good times, man. Real good times.
good times indeed. And one thing that we talk about a lot on the show, and a lot of wrestling podcasts do, the ribs, the jokes, the pranks that are pulled. And April Fool's Day is coming up on Friday. Are you you a bit of a prankster on April Fool's there, Devon? Or?
No, not so much, but I do like scaring my wife
Okay.
because she
sure, she
gets
loves
me.
that.
She does, well, she hates it, but she loves it
Mm.
because
Mm.
a lot of times she gets me more than I get her.
I can see
So
Good.
yes, because
Yeah.
I'm like in the laundry room putting the, I look up to grab a box, nothing's there except for the box, and then I go to put the clothes in the dryer or something. I turn around, there she is. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, stop doing that. So I I was plotting to get her one time, and I had a Freddy Krueger mask,
that. All right.
and this was like 10 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
The kids are down. It's dark. So I was like, where you go? She goes, I'm going to the refrigerator and get something to drink. I was like, oh, okay. Can you grab me something? She goes, yeah, sure. As soon as she walks out, I take the Freddy mask and put it on. So you know how my house is. It's the wall that separates the kitchen and the living room. So instead of going in the kitchen through the kitchen area, I went around through the living room and went to the side where the refrigerator was. And it's like in those movies when the door
Mm-mm.
opens and no one's there, you close it back and
Mm-mm.
bam. Oh
Mm-mm.
yeah, she screamed and swung and kicked.
And then
That's
the kids
just-
weren't down anymore at that point.
No, I got my daughter coming out. Mommy, what's wrong? Why you scream? What's wrong? Daddy's an asshole. I said,
Yeah.
watch your mouth.
Oh my gosh.
That's
So
funny.
terrible.
That's funny. Lindsay, are you a
No.
bit of a prankster or no?
I'm not. I have this. I come from a long line of people that cringe with secondhand embarrassment. Isn't that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we don't. Mm-mm. And if I have been pranked in the past, I have blocked it out. So I don't remember.
Well, next time you and
Yeah.
Mo come to the house and you stay, I'll make sure that Freddy mask comes out
Mm,
when you least expect it.
no thanks.
That's it's
I
not
don't
much
think
better.
I'll be there.
We did hide an exorcist
Oh, we
figure
did do
in
that.
his
See, I
room,
blocked that
so-
out too because it was a little.
You did?
Yeah, remember we did the WrestleMania from
Yeah.
your place. We put the little Regan doll.
Yeah, I remember
Devon's,
that.
yeah. You weren't too happy about
Yeah, asshole.
that. One of my favorite pranks, and I haven't done it since, but I was working at a radio station back in Indiana. I was running a classic rock, classic hit station, and my boss was the guy that was running a sister country station. We were in the same building. He was very upset that we were kicking his ass in the ratings and everything, but he's the boss, he should be number one. So he didn't like it. He tried to pull a prank on me. I don't remember what it was. It was bad. So I decided I was going to pull a prank on him then in return, knowing that he and his staff weren't very computer literate. I took a screenshot of their desktop. So, and then made that their desktop theme. So when you go on your desktop, on your computer or your laptop, you got your icons in your certain spot.
Mhm.
So I made that the background image, and the original prank was going to be take all the icons off. So when you start trying to double click, a thing, it wouldn't open. But I'm like, what fun is that? They'll know right away. So I only removed select ones.
Mm.
Okay.
So they're trying to open up like Firefox or Internet Explorer, whatever the hell we used at that time, and it's not opening up. You could still go to the start menu and you could still open it up, but for some reason you can't double click it.
Right.
But then you would try a different program and that would open up. And so this was frustrating them. They're like, what's going on with our machine? They'd restart the machine. Nothing would change. 6 months later, I kid you not, 6 months later, they finally reported the issue to the engineer. And the engineer's in there. And I like the engineer. Jeff was his name. Jeff's like, I just can't figure out what's going on with their computer. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait. What's wrong with their computer? And he tells me, he goes, it doesn't make any sense that this opens up and this doesn't. And my jaw drops. I'm like, this is like October now. So I'm like, change the desktop image. Why? I'm like, just trust me. So he changed the desktop image, and then he notices that not everything's there. He goes, how the fuck do you know that? I go, because I pranked them. He goes, when did you do that? On April Fool's Day.
That's great.
And He goes, why would they not say anything beforehand? I'm
Wow.
like, because they're idiots.
Well, it's, pranking idiots kind of ruins all the fun.
So that's still probably
great.
like the upper echelon for me, just because the idiots took 6 months
It
to do
lasted 6 months.
Well, I have to say this for the fans that are watching right now. I want you to write in right now and tell me a good prank that I can do on my wife.
Okay, all right.
So if anybody can
good
send them,
prank there.
yeah. So you guys, if you're listening and watching, please give me a good prank.
I know there was another one where teenagers, being teenagers, a group of us were going to the movies, and there was a guy in the group that always got picked on. He was always that guy that everybody shat upon, and he got up to go to the bathroom during the movie, so all of us decided to get up and change seats. And we went across the theater, but there was a group right in front of us, so he comes back and he sits next to them thinking it's us. And he's there for like 10 minutes until he finally notices that all of them are looking at him like, what are you doing here?
Right. Well, like, who are you?
He was so pissed.
God, so embarrassing. I hate that.
I think
I'm so bad for him.
I know he tried to hit me with his car afterwards, but that's
fine. You deserve it, probably.
Lindsay is horrified right now that we might do something like that.
No, I can't. I can't watch Impractical Jokers. I can't do it. Those poor people.
I love that show. So
I know. My daughter loves it.
Let me ask you a question. With that show, these guys are famous now, so it's not like if you stay to your town, you won't know who they are.
Right? Yeah.
There's still a lot of people that don't recognize them. I mean, we know who they are, so it's not going to work for us. But last time I talked to one of them, they did say how difficult it's become for them to find better spots to record.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you know, Joe's no longer in the cast. He left.
Yeah, I heard.
And so they have some other celebrities filling in this season. And apparently Joey Fatone really wants to be in the Impractical Jokers, but we talk about recognizability.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say he'd be good. But
you got a former boy band member who was on top of the world. Everybody's going to recognize him, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But then you'll be surprised because a lot of people wouldn't think, what is he doing here in our town or in our city or what have you? May not believe it's him.
Maybe. That's true. Byron says Mo may have been an asshole in his teen years. 2 things. 1, shut up, Byron.
Shut up, Byron.
And 2, I'm still an asshole now, so it's all right.
Yeah.
Nobody admitting to any big pranks right now yet, but that's okay. Maybe they don't want to share their secrets yet either.
Yeah, well, help me out here. It's not for them, it's for me. I need something that's really going to make Taylor just get very angry at me.
Taylor might be in the chat. Just
really, all you have to do is have conversation with her, right, Devon?
Say it again.
Really, all you have to do is just make fun of the garage and all of the coupon products in there, and she'll be mad at you.
That makes me mad.
So you want her to be mad at you? Is that what you're saying?
I would like some revenge after making my house into a Walmart.
She hasn't made you wear a blue vest yet, has she?
Oh God!
You just have to smile and
make me stand at the door talking and
greet
welcome
her.
the guests coming in. Hi, welcome to Devon's Walmart. How you doing? Can I take your order?
Can I take your order?
Oh, you need any help? Which aisle do you need? I got 5 different aisles in my garage. I was just upstairs in my game room, and that's been taken over because she moved all the Christmas stuff from this past Christmas upstairs. So of course she bought more than what she entitled, to use. Mm-hmm. And so what does she do? She stuffs it in the closet. Half of the stuff don't fit in the closet. So where is it? On the floor, in the game room. I said, this is my domain. This is my place to get away from you and the girls sometimes when I need, sanity. Don't come up there and put your crap up there with mine. I'm going to have to build a shed or something on the side of the house just so she can put this crap.
Yeah. Or she's just going to boot you eventually and you'll have to find a new place.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll move in with the twins.
There you go.
Well, what about some sort of injury thing? I mean, you got crocodiles that like to visit you in the backyard from time to time. What if
well, we have alligators, not crocodiles. If we had crocodiles, I would not
get it right.
Put out that house.
My apologies, sir.
Oh, brother, you have no idea. Crocodiles are nasty. They're like great white sharks. They don't know why they attack people like that, but they do. Alligators don't want anything to do with you. Alligators are like raccoons. And I say it like this I say it like this. Raccoons, I lived in New York, in New Rochelle, and I would have to walk a lot of places. I didn't have a car. And I remember at night walking home, I'd run into some raccoons, and they would make noise just to let me know that they're there. Don't come in my space. And then, or they would run up the tree or something. They would run away from you. Alligators, I've noticed here, are the same way. They want nothing to do with you. Although people are very fearful of alligators here in Florida, they want nothing to do with you. They'll see you go in the water and they wind up on the opposite side of the lake. They want nothing to do with you. Crocodiles will just come after you.
Okay. That's good to know. That's good to know.
Mhm.
Side note, an octopus is my favorite animal nowadays because an octopus will literally punch fish for no reason.
Oh,
I'm sorry. They what?
They
they
will
choose
punch
violence
fish.
every day.
If you're just swimming by and you're a fish, an octopus may punch you out of spite.
Really?
They wake up and choose violence every day.
Yeah.
I've never
I
heard
get it.
of
I
that.
understand it.
I respect a good about a spite there. So Casimir says, fake injury prank on your wife. That's where I was going with this. Alligator, crocodile, doesn't matter. Raccoon attack.
Gotcha.
Maybe fake. Maybe do a back injury. Maybe make it seem like you fall down the stairs or something.
That'd be original.
Ooh, that would get her bad. Oh man. Oh God. She would call you two and tell you, I just murdered Devon. So find a new cause because he pranked me that he fell. Because listen, I can't, of course I can't drive. I can't go to the bathroom without her helping me. It's bad, man. She don't let me do anything since this back surgery.
Well,
she is.
Wait, what was that comment about raccoons?
It keeps pooping in her pool because it's.
Ow! Don't keep such a clean pool.
That's one solution there. So if you do decide to go the injury route with your wife,
she'll kill me, literally.
You said you wanted to make her mad.
I want to make her mad, not kill me.
I
don't want my house to turn into the Amityville horror house because that's what'll happen. She'll kill me, and I'll wind up coming back to the house as a spirit form and ruining anybody that wants to move in this house.
No, then you'll be doing the deliveries for the people that are buying all the product in your house.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
I'm trying to think what else.
I can't think of stuff.
Is there anything that she wanted to do or go to lately, like a restaurant, something that maybe you take her to the wrong place because you just can't remember it's the place that she wanted to go?
Memory. He can't think.
Yeah, I can't remember about that right now, but I know there's one place that she does want to go to. It's in Carolina. Not the Tiger King. Isn't it a place just like the Tiger King guy? Isn't it a place in Carolina?
The Joe Exotic place?
Hollywild.
What is it?
Hollywild?
Yes. I think that's the name of it. That's where she wants to go.
Yeah.
So
I've been there.
Say, listen, don't do anything. Just want to let you know today, your parents are going to watch the kids, and you need to pack a suitcase because we're going to Carolina. We'll be back.
Which Carolina are you going to?
Is it South Carolina?
Yeah. Good job.
Yeah.
South Carolina. Myrtle Beach has a place.
This one is in Carolina.
Dirty Myrtle.
She keeps saying it. Dirty Myrtle. Yeah, I think that's it. And then when we start to go in the car, she goes, "Where you going?" I'm like, "Oh, we're just going to the wrestling school. Don't worry about it."
Oh, she's so mad.
She would be mad. She would be mad.
Yeah. So, well, I'll keep thinking about ideas for you.
Come up with
I'm trying to help you out somehow, some way.
But you do know once you do, and if it is successful, and I do get beat, I'm telling her you gave me the idea.
And she won't believe it. So
you're probably right about that. She won't.
But quit trying to bring Mo and Lindsay into your down with you.
Yeah, for some reason you two can't do no wrong in her eyes. Whatever. Whatever. Wrong way. There you go.
All right. Well, happy April Fool's Day to everybody. If you are participating, awesome. If not, realize there's probably a lot of people who are participating, including a lot of businesses, a lot of websites. Don't believe any news that comes out on Friday.
That's why I don't read anything on Friday.
How many times I've been on the air doing morning shows, and I have to tell people, don't believe anything today, and people still do.
Yeah.
So
because it goes in one ear and goes out the other, you forget that it's April Fool's Day.
Yeah. So if nothing else, we're trying to help
another
you
Friday.
out.
Yep, it's another Friday.
Right. Yeah. So we'll see, but we'll see you next week. Well, Lindsay and I will see you next week. Can't guarantee Devon will. He may be murdered.
He may
Yeah.
have been
By
Well,
his-
just know.
swimming with the fishies.
I told her, I said, listen, I said, you kill me, you don't get the insurance money.
no, but she is allowed to be on the show next week.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, but
Which
she
is
might be
just
angry.
as good.
Oh, she's not allowed to be. Stop. Don't tell her that, and don't text her that either. She's not allowed to be on the show.